And welcome to Believers in Business here on AM 630 KSLR. And I think the title says it all. You get to meet our business owners who are great partners with the station, who just happen to be believers in the good news on this great radio station. And if you happen to need the services we're about to talk about, then we encourage you to partner with that believer in business. As my name is Baron Wiley, I love being a part of this program because I get to meet a lot of great people doing great things and learn what they do, get to know them personally a little bit better. And we've got another winner for you here today. Boy, our fourth show already, Dana Reeder, with Reeder Consulting, as you do great work in guiding, counseling young folks and steering them in the right direction. So thank you again for being here and being a believer in business.
Thank you.
Well, we've been through middle school now in our series. The podcast can be found at KSLR.com on our podcast page. Just look up Believers in Business and find Dana Reeder. We've been through our freshman year. Our sophomore year was episode number 3. Episode number 4, boy, we're already juniors here. Now it really starts getting serious.
Yes, it is. I always say I feel so bad for this grade because it's the hardest year, I think, out of the 4 years in high school, just academic-wise. It really is a tough year.
Yeah, and the pressure to decide where you're going to go to college, much less, what are you going to do. This is where you come in, and you help figure out and get them on that right path there, too.
Right.
Is college always the answer, though?
I love that question, and I have to tell you, I have said it numerous times, I think everyone's built for something very special. And some kids are college bound and some are not. Some are potentially certification bound or the trade route bound. Everyone is different. And I will tell you, I was very blessed actually to be invited to attend the Inc. 5000 conference that was held here in San Antonio. Where it's really kind of the superheroes of the U.S. economy, private companies that come together. And I was blessed to spend time with about 4 different CEOs and mentoring sessions. And throughout the course of the day, I was so fascinating of how many of those CEO and really successful business people said to me, I wish people would stop telling kids they had to go to college. That there's just so many careers that don't require a 4-year degree. And so they're seeing it in a business sector that isn't necessarily always the case. But I think that junior year, you have to determine, am I going to go down that path or not?
If you don't mind me saying, can we kind of recap? Because I told you what your business is, but what do you do?
So I help individuals in the 8th grade and above kind of figure out what their career path is, but through empirically based assessments, specifically aptitude testing, interest, and personality.
And your target age of a child that comes to see you, what would that be?
Oh, well, I'd say from 14 to 15. I've seen 7th graders before, but really my passion is kind of that high school age. I do work a lot with college students who are getting out and have picked a major that wasn't the right one, and we'll probably talk about that in some of the later podcasts. But this high school year is really important. And I'll tell you, there's a lot of conversations going on within San Antonio between industry and schools, because industry needs students that are going to go into trade, and they're not getting them. And, schools, they're doing a great job in, helping kind of guide them. That's the whole reason House Bill 5 was created. I think the piece, in my professional opinion, that is missing is the aptitude assessments.
And that's what you do.
Yes, because I think if you gave a student an aptitude in their sophomore year and showed, hey, you like short-term learning goals, and here's a list of careers that match how your brain naturally works and, are, 0 to 2 years, certification to trades. Not to mention, here's what you're going to make. I think it's the missing key, because you can tell a student, hey, are you interested in the trades, or are you, what path are you kind of looking at? But there's something so validating when you see the results on a piece of paper that God has built you this way, and you're going to be successful. And not only are you going to be good at it, but you are going to enjoy it.
Yeah.
It's the, whole enchilada. It's the perfect combination. And right now, that's not occurring. And I hear all these conversations because it's the world that I care about.
Right.
And I continue to reach out and say, Have you considered aptitude testing? Well, there's not time. Well, aptitudes, the testing for my clients, they take it home. It's not during the school day. It can be on a weekend. But, really taking that time and spending with the student to go through the results, that is what is important. It's not just a test. It's sitting down and having the conversations that say, look, if you're going to be in this area, this is how much money you're going to make in Texas or in the U.S. or if you're going to move. There's a lot of information that goes into making a decision. That's why it's called career exploration.
Excellent. I've said this before, but there's a verse in Proverbs. It's Proverbs 22:6. It says, train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. And so what I'm suggesting is that call Dana Reeder at Reeder Consulting, College and Career Guidance. The number is 210-646-4524. And I have the feeling that when someone has the experience with you, takes the assessments, you go over it, there might be a light switch that goes off with that child. Maybe as a parent, you're always knowing and investing and encouraging and saying you're going to be a great blanket, whatever that is, a lawyer, because I know that's you, and they'll discount it because it's the parent.
Right.
But hearing it from you might be a little different experience for them.
Yes, the third party. I mean, I've said it before in previous podcasts. My only interest is that child and that young adult. And I have seen where we've gone through results and the student has shown a preference towards a certain area, and that isn't necessarily well received. And, it does concern me that a young adult knows and cares about what they want to do, and it's always a process, I think, to really get to that piece. And I think where I come into play, and there's a little bit of where I add value that others may not, is that right now counselors are just inundated. They have so much paperwork. And even Money Magazine did a survey of about 235 high school counselors, and they asked them, where are you spending your time for career exploration? So these are 235 counselors who said, this is what I'm doing as far as this goes. Okay. 50% of their time was focused on financial aid. Very important. How are we going to pay for higher education if that's the route that they go? 40% of their time was spent on helping high school students figure out the right college. And less than 20% was on what was going to be the career. I tell my clients, you're going to college for a career. I don't want you stepping on a campus until you know what your career is going to be. Well, that's why aptitudes, I really like to see them the sophomore year, very beginning of the junior year, because as you start looking at campuses, if they don't have your degree, then you shouldn't even be stepping on the beautiful green grass.
Correct.
Because I think what happens is then you get caught up in, okay, well, the campus is beautiful, or my parents went here, and not, does this really meet your educational goals?
So can I tell you, in 1986, when I graduated from high school and I started going to college and taking all my basics at UTSA and leaned towards communications, et cetera, and ran out of courses and interest until I found out that there was a radio station at SAC. And that was the right school for me at San Antonio College because they had a radio station. And it was from there that got me, hey, here at KSLR, and the rest is history there, too. So you're absolutely right.
And it saves the parents money. Yeah. And it saves the child
let's be clear.
Stress.
I had to pay. Let's be clear.
Yes.
Let's not give any credit where I had to work. I work at Bill Miller's.
But, someone's paying for that.
Yeah.
So do we get it right the first time, or at least on a path we know could potentially be right?
Where were you in 1986, Dana Reeder? Where were you?
I know.
I needed you.
I have parents say that to me all the time. But
Hey, we're talking to Dana Reeder. She's our Believers in Business today with Reeder Consulting, Career and Guidance. I'm sorry, Dana. It's College and Career Guidance.
That's okay. It means the same thing.
Yeah, that's what you do. Find her on the web, though, very easily at reederconsulting.com. Reeder is R-E-E-D-E-R, reederconsulting.com. Or you can call and make an appointment at 210-646-4524, 210-646-4524 with that office right there in Helotes off Bandera Road there. But with technology, you can work off of Skype and over the phone there. You get it all teed up, and there it is. How long is the experience for the child to take the aptitude test and then get results?
The test actually takes about 2.5 to 3 hours. And so, but they can break it up. So there's 10 to 15 different tests that you can take, one today, 3 the next day. They're 5 to 8 minutes. They're brain teasers. Some clients think they're so fun and they do all of them like in one
Knock 'em out,
sitting.
huh?
Others, they take their time, which is perfectly okay. I want them to be in an environment where they have quiet and they're focused.
If you can talk about this there too, do you help people find a school yourself?
You know, what comes out of some of the results is whether a small university would be a good fit or a large university. And kind of with their learning environment, if they need to have more hands-on learning or, lecture, that they do well with lectures. So we talk about the learning environment. My passion is not to identify any schools. There's plenty of people who are out there who will do that. Okay. Mine is just for them to understand how they tick, what environments make sense, who they are, how they learn, and what environments they're going to be most happy in.
So you can steer them in the right direction on what major.
Yes, absolutely. And they get a list. And, they have a section that's like the one of the best matches, and there's lots and lots of options. And then there's, the medium, which some aptitudes are off, and can they live with those aptitudes that are off? For instance, if they, have a need for being involved with, their spatial reasoning, is that an important thing in work, or can they do that in an interest and a hobby? So.
Well, very good. You're doing it all right there, and you can learn so much more at the website, readerconsulting.com, or again, call 210-646-4524. Dana, what you were telling me a story here you wanted to end with, as we're already near the end of the program here. What can you close us out with?
It's funny because I have many clients who, when their child takes the assessments, they ultimately say to me, I learned so much about my child. And you think, you've been with that child for 18 years. We know them better than anyone, right? And so there is information that comes out of it that's valuable. And it's why it's called career explorations. Careers are a journey. And it shows young people that there are tools in the toolkit that can help them and makes them unique and capable and confident. But they just have to take that first step. Well,
you can take that first step by a couple different ways. Again, going to the website, readerconsulting.com. Learn so much more. Learn about all the great things that Dana has done in your wonderful story of all your experiences around the globe, 35 different countries, and serving in the Chamber of Commerce with in Helotes.
Yes.
Boy, up close and personal there too. Your services in the Northside school districts and et cetera. Hands-on. And again, I sincerely believe that the Lord has brought you to this time in your life to do this and to help families. And let me just also say this. This service is offered in other cities like Dallas for $1,000 and more if you consider your travel. How about doing that for less than that, half of that, here with Dana Reeder with the same quality and the same passion? And, oh, by the way, she's a believer in business. So,
absolutely.
So we thank you for doing that, Dana.
Thank you so much.
Let me give out the number one more time, 210-646-4524, readerconsulting.com. for Reader Consulting College and Career Guidance. And I say thank you again.
Thank you.
And thank you for listening to AM 630 KSLR.